Susie starts off this hour in Hawaii. Hi, Susie. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. How's it going?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Good. So, my husband and I both have received an inheritance this year. He is Australian, so his was Australian inheritance. So we put it in a bank in Australia. It's $115,000, and we've kept that there because the exchange rate is so low. So so that's in Australia. And I've just received about $350,000. And so we are self-employed. So we don't have any retirement. So just want to know best thing to do with our money.
Do you have any debt?
We do. We have a house mortgage, $200,000, in business credit card bills. We have about $20,000, and then IRS repayment plan $13,000, and auto loan at about $4,000.
Okay. If you raise your right hand and promise to never borrow money again, and if you get on a budget to prove it, that you're never going to borrow money again, and if you start handling money together to where you never repeat the mistakes that have gotten you into the messes you just described, then I would write a check and pay off all these debts, and I'd be 100% debt-free. And then I would use the household cash flow that used to be used for payments to build wealth with. And you'll have the $300,000 back in no time. But if you pay off everything and you continue your sloppy, disorganized ways of buying crap you can't afford, you're going to go back into debt, and this money's going to have vaporized on you.
Right.
So that's the discussion you've got to have at your house is, are we going to honor the memory of the person who left us this money by changing our financial habits to look more like theirs, because that's how they got that money. They didn't have IRS.
Right.
They didn't have IRS liens and car payments.
Right. Okay.
And so, if you're willing to do that, then the proper advice would be to pay off everything. It might be a good idea to say, all right, I'm going to pay off the IRS today. That's kind of a no-brainer, right? And I'm going to pay off my little car payment today. And what was the other debt other than the house?
Some credit card bills, which are on the business.
Yeah, I'm going to cut up the credit cards and never use them again. I'm going to pay off all the debts except my home. And then I'm going to get on a written budget, and I'm going to prove to myself that I'm disciplined. And once you've proven that to yourself and you've lived on less than you make and you start building up some savings because of that, then that would set you free to write the check out of the inheritance money and pay off the house. I'd be a little worried, with no track record of being disciplined, that you suddenly would grow discipline.
Right.
If I were you, I'm a little worried about me and chocolate chip cookies right now. So, you know, I may be 72% gravy by this time Thursday. So, so I mean, I'm a little worried about all of us. But so the point is, don't fool yourself. I probably would go through Financial Peace University. I'd pay off all the little debts, and then let's get on it. Let's have a new life because of this that sets us free to build wealth and go ahead and clear that mortgage after you've been disciplined for 6 months. You've been in control for 6 months, and you've vowed that we're never borrowing money ever again, because you shouldn't need to. If you got no payments, you ought to be able to save money like a wow person, right?
Right.
Yeah. So what is the history of the exchange rate with Australia? I don't know the history. Has it always been about? Has it always been about where it is, or has it just recently gotten worse?
It's been about the same for a couple years, maybe 1 or 2 years.
Okay. So what makes you think it's going to change in the next 2 or 3 years?
Yeah, that's what we're thinking. So
you do think it's going to change in the next 2 or 3 years?
No.
You don't. Well, if it's not going to change, there's no point in leaving it there. You might as well take the hit and move it on over, whatever the exchange rate issue is, and get your investments all stateside, and start, if you live in the United States, start doing, good mutual funds and that kind of stuff. There's no rush, but I mean, if there's a, I do not know any history at all on the Australian exchange rate. I know nothing about it. So if I were you, though, I'd be studying it, because the only reason to leave it in an Australian bank is because you think that in a few years it's going to get better. But if you have no reason based on history and track record to think it's going to get better, then you're leaving it there for no reason. Might as well just say this is what the exchange rate is. It's not, it's just not good. That's the way it is.